Time for The Pulse. With us tonight, CNN contributor Eric Erickson. He's editor-in-chief of the conservative blog RedState.com. Jane Hampshire is founder of the liberal website FireDogLake.com and Democrat-turned-independent and activist now, Esai Morales. Thanks for joining us all. Eric, I want to start with you because in your Red State morning briefing this morning, you said for conservatives, the choice is not to repeal and reform, it is to repeal. As the president signs this into law and goes out to the American people, still a very skeptical American public, and tries to sell it, you believe that the right message, and here's how you put it, I want to read the language, you put it, friends, if we are going to destroy the Democrats, we must first build up an army of real conservatives who would repeal this. That's the language you think is best for conservatives going into the fall.
I think so. You know, we're already hearing today on Capitol Hill some Republicans saying, well, we want to fix it, we want to tweak it. They're not saying repeal it. I think the American public polls are showing very clearly want this legislation repealed. There's no consensus really on what to replace it with, but repeal it and start over as opposed to trying to fix something no one wanted to begin with.
And so, Esai, you hear that message from conservatives. The president knows he has a skeptical American public, and Eric is right when he says a majority, say at the moment anyway, they don't want this bill. So the president understands the depth of the sales pitch. Let's listen.
This isn't radical reform, but it is major reform. This legislation will not fix everything that ails our healthcare system, but it moves us decisively in the right direction. This is what change looks like.
If this is what change looks like, is it what he promised in the campaign when Washington was going to be bipartisan, people were going to be grown up and get along, and he was going to work with the Republicans? Not all his fault, mind you, but can he sell this legislation now in this new environment?
I think he can. The fact that he turned the minds around of the Democrats that were holding out is an example of this. I mean, I supported Kucinich, if anything, because I really believe his interests lie with the people. And basically, at the end of the day, it's the people that have got to be served well. And I have my problems with it. I have to admit, I don't want to pay for something that I take care of myself very well. I take care of myself so I don't have to depend upon the system. I don't want to be penalized. So I understand a lot of right-wingers' concerns, but I also think that they made a mistake trying to demonize and Hitlerize and socialize. And, scare tactics can only last so long before the people wake up. There are things that need to be addressed in this bill, but I do believe it is a step in the right direction, in spite of the fact that, insurance industry stock has not gone down. If anything, some of them have actually gone up. So this is not anti-capitalist at all. This is kind of trying to make everybody happy.
Jane, come in on that point, and to the degree of the mood on the left, now that you get this historic bill, but it doesn't contain some things that people wanted. And as you jump in, I want you to listen to Egberto Willies of Kingwood, Texas. We asked some of our reporters to contribute, and he seems to agree essentially with Esai, saying, there's a lot in this I don't like, but it is better than nothing. Let's listen.
While the bill that passed was not the single-payer system or public option most of us progressives wanted, it was the best compromise possible given the level of fear for government that was instilled in many American psyche by those opposing universal health care.
So it's okay, not great. Does that mean people of that view will be there in November for the Democrats, or is that lack of full enthusiasm a problem?
Well, I think that lack of full enthusiasm could cause problems because you're looking at a situation where 13% in the new CNN poll say that they don't like the bill because it's not liberal enough. And that's the base. That's the people that you need to show up for you in an election. And you've got someone like Michael Bennet, the senator from Colorado, who's facing a primary challenger, Andrew Romanoff. And originally, a month ago, Michael Bennet was the hero of the public option. He was the guy who was saying, hey, let's fight for this thing. And now that he could actually introduce an amendment for one, and leadership doesn't want him to, he's going to be a good boy and he's not going to do it. And Andrew Romanoff is saying, well, if I was in the Senate, I would do it. So it's causing a real problem for him because he's starting to look like an unprincipled hack who was only doing it to fundraise when he, when it didn't matter. And I think that you're seeing a lot of people who are in the Senate, in the House, who got forced to walk the plank and vote for something that could, potentially cost them. And I guess I just wanted to know from you, John, what are you hearing from members of Congress, from the Senate, who think that they took a chance voting for this bill?
Well, many do think they take a chance, Jane. In my reporting, what you get in the sense from Democrats is that they did come to agree with the White House conclusion that do it nothing would be worse. And if they voted no, they were still not going to get Republican votes. And therefore, their only hope is to try to get their base back. So you try to get the labor unions, you try to get other progressives to come with you. But many of them acknowledge they're not sure that's the right calculation. It's just the one they made when they faced time to vote. We'll continue this. This is an early glimpse at the politics post the landmark legislation. The president will sign it tomorrow. We'll watch how this plays out, and we'll bring you all back. Esai, Jane, and Eric, thank you very much. And as we come back, President Obama's approval rating is at a new low. How is he going to sell health care reform to a skeptical public? We'll go wall to wall with the numbers next.